memories before. And some reasons for this would be source amnesia or source monitoring. So you just don't know where it came from, the actual source. You could have seen a picture, you could have been standing in line looking at your phone, then look up and be like, I've been here before. No, dummy. You haven't been here before. You've been here right now, and you just haven't soaked it in until the moment you looked up out of, from your phone. You're like, oh, I've been here before. No, you're here right now. You just didn't consciously, you weren't aware of it until that moment. Okay, here we go. Elizabeth Loftus, she basically says that don't trust your memory. Eyewitness, to car accidents. She studied all of this pretty much, and she says that pretty much you can be manipulated to say that somebody was going faster or whatever it is, it's the verbiage that lawyers use can easily manipulate the answer of a witness. Source confusion and memory distortion that occurs when the true source of the memory is forgotten. False memories, distorted or fabricated recollection of something that did not actually occur. Schemas we've talked about a lot. Those are your lists that you've built in your mind forever. And then scripts are just for sequences of events, and those are a type of schema. So how you order at a restaurant, right? You sit down, you get drinks, then you get appetizers, then you get your meal, then you get your dessert, then you get your check. That is a script, and usually things go that way. And you can actually distort your memory to fit the script, right? Imagination inflation, lost in a shopping mall technique. Raise your hand if you've ever been lost in a store. And then everybody raises their hand. And then you wonder, did it happen to everybody? Or did you just hear the story and you were confused on if it happened to you or not? All right, Carl Lashley. So we have two scientists here, Lashley and Thompson. Okay, so Lashley, so he's an American psychologist who attempted to find the specific brain location of particular memories. So he basically says that it's spread out over the brain. It's not localized. Lashley, not localized. Because he did this research with rats and he took out bits and pieces of their brains and they could still run the maze. But what he messed up is that running a maze is too complex of a task. So he couldn't stop the rats from doing it because they used their whole brain. Then Thompson says, you know what? Some of these memories are localized. Because he takes a rabbit, takes a piece of its cerebellum out and stops it from a learned behavior of blinking whenever you blow like a little puff of air in its eye. So he finds that memory is localized. So what's the answer? Both. Okay? You just have to know that Lashley is not localized and Thompson is. Oh, my favorite line to read. You guys remember me reading this? Enter Amnesia, a gentle seaweed munching sea snail off the coast of the California coast. I love saying that. It just makes me feel good. But Amnesia has giant neurons, right? And so they did this, these experiments with Amnesia on how the neural basis of learning and memory actually happen. And they found that this thing called long-term potentiation happens, LTP, long-lasting increase in synaptic strength between two neurons. And the more you use the neuron, the stronger the neural connection is. They found that out using Amnesia. And that's true. It's called, this is what happens when you learn or you perfect a skill. Your neural connections get stronger and stronger and stronger, and you get better and better and better. Now remembering or the skill. Amnesia, please know the difference between retrograde and anterograde amnesia. Retrograde is the classic amnesia, can't remember the past. Anterograde amnesia is I can't make new memories. That's a sad one. Henry Malaysian, he had his hippocampus surgically removed to stop seizures, and he was extensively studied for his anterograde amnesia, so he couldn't make new memories unless they were procedural. Meaning that the hippocampus is pivotal in making new memories. It's not there to store memories. It's not your long-term memory or anything like that. It is solely there to make new memories. Once you get it to your cortex, right? Your wrinkly gray matter. It's there. It's there for you. Henry knew his name. He still had the ability to talk. He could be humorous, all that kind of stuff. But he would fail a lot of tests when it came to making new memories. But if you practice enough, he ended up having these procedural memories. He doesn't know that he knows them, right? So he can be given a puzzle 1,000,000 times in a row, and he'll be like, oh, I've never done this puzzle before, but he'll finish it so much faster the 1,000,000th time compared to the first time, because it becomes procedural. All right. Prefrontal cortex, again, sequence of events, but not the events themselves. Amygdala, emotional aspects of memories. Hippocampus, making new memories. Medial temporal lobe encodes and transfers new explicit memories to long-term memory. And then the cerebellum, memories involving movement. Dementia. I think you know what dementia is. Just know that dementia isn't necessarily... Alzheimer's and dementia are not the same thing. Alzheimer's is a form of dementia. Okay? The most prevalent one that we know now. What has happened in the brain is that it's formed plaques in these tangles, and they're choking off neurons. So beta amyloid plaques, dense deposits of protein and other cell materials outside and around the neurons. The plaques interfere with the ability of the neurons to communicate, and boom, neurons end up dying, and the brain shrinks in on itself. Same thing as the neurofibrillary tangles. So twisted fibers build up inside the neuron, interrupt the flow of nourishment from the glial cells to the neuron, and then again the neuron chokes off and dies. And then basically you can see it up here, it goes normal, mild cognitive impairment, and then Alzheimer's disease, you're literally missing the middle of your brain. And again, don't let it be characterized just necessarily by memory. It really attacks memory first, and then at the end of it, you can't move, you're excreting all over yourself, crying like a baby, laughing like a child, unable to control your limbic system. All right, we're done. Just one more term, hyperthymesia. Pretty much you can't forget anything. All right.